Joining us live now to go further in depth on this is radio host Cary Harrison. Cary, it's great to have you on the program today. Now, we know that Washington funded the Contras in Nicaragua in the 1980s to destabilize the nation's government. Do you think the U.S. continues to use proxy forces in a similar way today?
It's quite possible, though we don't actually have firm evidence. And I would also add that pretty much every country does whatever they can to frustrate anybody else's lead over them, whether it's China, the United States, whether it's Russia. People seem to not care when they're at the top and they run things. Those of us down here, the little upright mammals, we get concerned about this stuff because it affects our lives.
Absolutely. Once those prices start skyrocketing, that certainly affects the general public much more than the politicians in office. Now, Russia's Security Council has hinted that there are similarities between the Washington-sponsored attacks back in 1983, which targeted Nicaragua's oil facilities, and the events of today. What do you think he meant, and are such comparisons fair there, given everything we know so far?
Well, if we just look at the facts, we do recall that Undersecretary of State Victoria Nuland did say back in January and February, including President Biden, that if the Russians were to invade Ukraine, then in fact there would be no more Nord Stream 2. And now, as of today, there is no more Nord Stream 2. Asked by a reporter at the time, including covered by Der Spiegel in Germany and Deutsche Welle, how are you going to do that? And President Biden said, we'll just do it. So was this precognition? Was this wishful thinking? It's turned into a reality, so it's hard to separate the United States entirely from monkey shines, let's say.
Now, there seems to be a little bit of back and forth over who could possibly benefit from the damage that was done to the Nord Stream pipelines. Yet we hear from the Biden administration saying that no one would benefit from sabotaging Nord Stream. Do you see that that's true, especially given everything that we've heard from the same administration so far in regards to the pipeline?
Well, actually, everyone benefits from the damage of every pipeline except, again, us, the people down here. The owners benefit, prices go up. Anybody who's got natural gas, who's fracking, who's doing shale busting to get more natural gas, who's sending it overseas, transporting it, everyone gets a price hike. So the people at the top that run these operations, doesn't matter what country they're in, they get to jockey back and forth. The higher the competition, the higher the prices. This benefits every country except, of course, the consumer. It always gets back to us down here, and the people up top may scream and yell that it's a bad deal. But it's a great deal. If you're the only one that has the ice cream stand in the town in the middle of a summer, you're having a good day. And if somebody blows up half your ice cream and there's only half left and you can triple the price, it's really not a problem.
Now, when it comes to what happens next and where we go from here, will you finish up by telling me, if there is an investigation, can we expect any sort of action?
Well, the Swedes are pretty good about stuff. They still maintain a certain level of neutrality. They certainly have a long history of such. The Norwegians also being of a democratic socialist way of thought, which is, it is about the people. And they do share the proceeds of their oil sales and such, universally providing health care and other things that a lot of people find attractive if they live in a place where you don't have such a thing. I would like to think that the Swedes are actually quite interested in finding out this problem, since they are on the bad end of not getting things like heat in the winter. Already Germany has announced that people may not have hot water. They may not have heat. Germany is not used to that since after World War II ended. And, the people will follow orders, as they tend to like to do. But the reality is nobody wants that. So whatever they can do to figure out a fix, even if it's an official excuse through NATO, saying, well, we believe it's this or that, case closed, let's move on, they'll come up with some resolution.
Yeah, we'll certainly continue to follow to see what comes out of this. Radio host Cary Harrison, thank you for your time and analysis.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? What would you do if you had a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times treatment is fully covered, so why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed by law to take off time from work, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are two good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call us right now and save a life.
Call 855-325-5512. That's 855-325-5512. Call 855-325-5512 now.
Listen, well, it's still legal.
The Cary Harrison Show.